One bit of film, there is nothing else to say. I think it came out last year or the year before, but it was Adolescence. I have actually done cross-cutting before, but I have a few more things to say, so stick around. I knew they did use film strips, but I didn't know how they were made. Who did film and cutting and editing and everything? Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to another video. If you're new here, hi, my name is Nula. I am a digital creator here on YouTube trying to educate others and myself about the film industry. Today I'm going to be talking about how people used to edit film in the 1900s and earlier. It is honestly insane that they've actually managed to do this, and I can't wait to talk about it. I'm going to be reading off my phone today just because I have tried to remember stuff. I've tried to remember the script of what I've written down, but I just can't remember it, okay? So I'm just going to be reading off my phone. The first thing I'm going to be talking about are definitions that I personally feel like is quite important moving forward in this video, because there might be some certain keywords or phrases that you guys might not understand. I probably wouldn't understand either, but now I do understand because I've learned it all or kind of educated myself to know it, sort of. So the first definition is, what is a film strip, or what are film strips? A film strip is a continuous strip of film, typically 35mm, containing a sequence of still images. How do film strips work? Film strips are made up of a long strip of transparent plastic, typically celluloid, coated on one side with a photographic emulsion that contains light-sensitive silver halide crystals. These layers allow for the recording of images when exposed to light, which can then be developed into visible photographs. Positive film strips. The phrase positive film strips means the colours and brightness on the strips correspond closely to the original scene. Negative film strips. Negative film is a type of photographic film that captures inverted tones and colours, meaning light areas appear dark and dark areas appear light. Now that those main definitions are out the way, let's move on to how people in the 19th century actually edited film. The early days of editing began around 1890, when the first editors, usually said to be Lumiere brothers, used a manual process involving scissors and tape to edit their film. This method requires physically cutting and joining film strips back together where you wanted them to be to create a sequence. Editors work directly with celluloid film, which is a flexible plastic sheet made from nitrocellulose and camphor, on large editing tables, marking in and out points and making cuts where they've marked those in and out points. And that was all there was to it. Literally, there is nothing else to say, but I have a few more things to say, so stick around. I've already talked about how the film strips work, but I have another paragraph here. I'm just going to read it because it does have a few different points. So how do film strips work? Film strips worked by using a spool of 35mm positive film that contained a sequence of still images in sequential order. These images were projected onto a screen using a film projector, which advanced the film frame by frame, allowing viewers to see the images in a continuous sequence, which is kind of crazy. I'm not even gonna lie, like, how does that even work? I've already said it, but how does it work? I'm still confused. Every moment in the video was typically spread out on the film strips, with each frame capturing a moment of time. That has got to be my favorite line in this whole video. Capturing each frame captures a moment in time. Do you know how cool that sounds? Like, it's actually crazy. Like, it's insane how they've actually managed to do this. Were film strips expensive? Film strips were generally affordable, often costing less than full motion educational films. Prices could vary, but they were typically a less expensive alternative for educational purposes, especially before the rise of video technology. A few key milestones I'd like to talk about. In 1896, Méliès filmed Le Portrait Masurix, showcasing the concept of a cut within a scene, which is very cool, well done. In 1899, Méliès further explored editing by using techniques like double exposure and splicing to create illusions in his film. Double exposure means two different images are superimposed to create single layered photographs, which is very cool too. Film editing in the 1900s. A few early techniques I'd like to shout out as well is single shots. Most films consisted of single uninterrupted shots, And if you have seen, I think it came out last year or the year before, but it was Adolescence. They essentially shot each episode in one take. It is insane. I can't believe they did that still. Honestly, it must be so frustrating when you get it wrong. And so that is kind of an example of a single shot, not stopping, not cutting. Literally the whole episode would be just a single shot. Early filmmakers captured scenes from a fixed camera position similar to watching a play. There were no close-ups or camera movements at all. Key development, continuity editing, developed in the early 1900s. In this technique aimed to create a smooth storytelling experience. It focused on maintaining consistent graphic qualities and controlled editing rhythms to ensure narrative continuity. That's a big word. Pioneers. Filmmakers like D.W. Griffiths began experimenting with editing techniques such as cross-cutting, which means to establish action occurring at the same time, which is very cool. I have actually done cross-cutting before. I didn't actually know what the terminology was, but it's nice to know now. This is my little example of my cross-cutting. To build tension and enhance storytelling. So that is what cross-cutting can do, which I really like as well. It also kind of just moves, moves the story along a bit quicker and a bit more easier than if you were just to do one bit of film on one section and then move it to another area. I think cross-cutting is kind of nice because it gives you that diversity of different places, especially if you use contrasting colors. Contrasting colors is so nice in cross-cutting. Oh my gosh. His work in films like The Birth of a Nation, which I actually haven't seen. I kind of want to see it, but it was in the 1900s, so it might be a bit old and it might not be online. I mean, I hope it is. Maybe I'll have a look after, Showcase the potential of editing to manipulate time and space within a narrative. That is so cool as well. That's my second favorite sentence in this whole video. And that is all I have to say for this video. I hope you guys learned something. I know I for sure did. It was so fun learning about this topic because I honestly didn't know really anything. I knew they did use film strips, but I didn't know how they were made, who made them, who did film and cutting and editing and everything. So it was really nice to just learn about it a bit more and learn the roots of where, film, television, YouTube, where all that came from. So it's quite nice to now know and to be educated and educate myself and educate others so that y'all don't miss out. Thank you all for watching. I really hope you enjoyed. If you did enjoy, please give this video a big thumbs up and maybe subscribe to the channel because I'll be back in like 2 weeks to upload another video. So hopefully I'll see you guys all then. Goodbye, you guys. Thanks for watching.